We'll bring this meeting of the New Carlisle City Council to order. I welcome administration, guests, and the rest of council. With that,
All right, Mayor.
yes.
Councilwoman Grow.
Present.
Councilman Bond.
Here.
Councilman Shammy.
Here.
Councilwoman Wright.
Here.
Councilman Lindsay.
Here.
Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Here.
Present.
Okay, we've got that. Any one of you want to do the invocation?
I will. You
Go
want?
ahead.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you today. We thank you for this gorgeous day you've provided for us. It's a day that you have provided, and we will be glad and rejoice in it. Father, give us the knowledge and the wisdom to conduct this meeting in a fashion that it's supposed to be conducted in. Bless everybody that's here today, our firefighters, our first responders, and our military. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And with that, we have no action on the minutes, no communications that I'm aware of. Have you got anything, Mr. Hall?
Yes,
City
Mr.
manager
Mayor.
report?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing except to get down into additional business.
Okay. All right, no committee reports. Comments from members of the public. And I think we're going to have the ladies talk about the, what's called. If that, you want to go to the columbarium?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So Mr. Kiko has put in a lot of work and done a lot of research. We're getting closer to the actual install of the columbarium at the New Carlisle Cemetery. So the purpose of tonight's discussion is to talk about some of the fees that are going to be associated with selling the niches. And at this time, if Mr. Kiko would like. I know attached to your work session packages, we have a range of different fees and prices. So this will be kind of an open discussion to discuss, just pinning down exactly, where in the range you guys would like to put our fees for selling the niches. So, Mr. Kiko?
Thank you, Mr. Hall, Mayor, members of council, members of the public. So we do have the columbarium on order. Right now I'm working on getting the foundation, finish up the pricing with it so we can get it dug this fall. And so with that, the original columbarium pricing comparison, I did put it back in there, which we did pay almost $60,000 for the columbarium. It is a Rock of Ages, which comes out of Vermont. So it was the more expensive columbarium. And what was kind of suggested to us in the initial was, your standard $3,000 per niche. It would take about 17 niches to pay off your columbarium, and then anything after that would go to the next columbarium and or perpetual care. So we got looking at that, and then we're looking at our area. What's New Carlisle and the surrounding area? What would people pay that still is a good fair amount? Maybe not take 17 niches, maybe it takes 28 or 29 niches to pay it off. But we don't want to go so low on a price that basically once we get 40 niches or 50 niches in it sold, then you go buy a new one, you'll never get any perpetual care money. So it has to be high enough to be really profitable, but it's more for perpetual care and cemetery maintenance. So we got looking at a single niche. We're breaking this down into resident and non-resident. So a single niche, what we are proposing after looking at it would be $2,500 for a resident and $3,000 for the non-resident. And the $3,000 was just like the original suggested. But we would like to do a 60-day pre-sale of $2,000 for a resident and $2,500 for non-resident. So that would be like the base price to put out. And the double and companion niche is, talk to the cemetery superintendent and a few others, we're okay with doing this. And what this is the niche is 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches deep. A standard urn that the ashes come in, you cannot fit 2 of those urns. So if you want 2 fancy urns, you're not going to be able to do it. In talking with a couple of the cemetery folks, they said when they know they're going into a double, they may get them boxes that are like an 8-inch by 6-inch by 4-inch or something smaller, not fancy, but yes, both can fit in there. So, and what we were thinking is if you wanted to do a double companion niche, that would be $3,700. So instead of, if you're a resident, being $5,000 for 2 different ones, this would be $3,700. So there's that break where a husband, spouse, brother, sister, kids, parent, that kind of scenario helps out with cost-wise. But they will not be able to get, fancy urns, just because of the size of the box you got to fit in there. Moving down to the part of interment, open and close. This is very simple. An estimated was to be $500. We're suggesting just $350 to do this. Usually once we open the front of the niche to put the ashes in and you put that cover back on, you're done. And then disinterment transfer. We think that typically this is where there's usually cost, and we suggested a $600 cost. So if you want to have someone move from our columbarium into another columbarium in another state, they would pay the city $600 for us to take that out, that niche out. And then moving back up right above it was the inscription and faceplate engraving. So we're thinking it's not a set price because we do not have a city-approved vendor at this point, but there are a couple good engravers, one of them being like Dodds, and I think there's one other. And we were thinking that the ordinance language would say a variable inscription pricing to basically the market. So if the market says it's $200 to put the year born, year passed away, name, or anything like that, if it costs $150 today, but then in 2 years it costs $350, we got that covered. So what are your thoughts initially? Right now I'm looking, it's about an average of 30 or possibly less to pay back the original columbarium and start putting some into perpetual care.
Go ahead, Bill.
How long would it take to pay it off at $2,000 for single and $2,500 for the non-resident?
So there's 80 niches.
Okay.
So at $2,000, it would take half the columbarium to pay off one columbarium, to pay that columbarium off-ish.
That would be 40 niches? Mm-hmm. So you'd have another 40 to go towards perpetual care and/or towards another columbarium. So half could go to perpetual care and half could go for the future purchase of another columbarium.
So let's say that the columbarium's $80,000 next year. So you sell those 40 niches, you got $80,000. So you probably, if you say, I'm gonna put 40 towards the new columbarium and then 40,000 towards perpetual care or cemetery operating, where would the other 40,000 come from to pay for that columbarium? That's what we're looking at is.
I've got an answer, you probably don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Where'd the money come for this one?
So the general fund did an advancement, and then they're getting paid back.
Okay.
So in theory, the cemetery purchasers, the niche purchasers, will then pay for the next columbarium.
So you're really looking at the $2,500, which is the top of your figures here, correct?
Yeah, our top is just is lower than what their kind of suggested price was of $3,000 for a resident.
It says $2,500 for resident, $3,000 for non-resident.
In this one, in the original comparison, whenever we passed the ordinance to purchase the columbarium, there was the pricing in there, and it was originally $3,000 for everybody.
Okay. And we're going to do something lower than that?
So the pre-sale for the first 60 days would be $2,000.
Okay. And how would that be advertised so people would know?
We're going to put it out in probably if the next newsletter is due, if we can get it in there, but it'll be on, of course, the Facebook, the city's webpage. up at the city building, at the cemetery. We can put it pretty much anywhere. I mean, there won't be a door-to-door advertisement of it.
Okay. I would still feel more comfortable for the single at 2,000 than the non-resident at 3 for the non-resident. The double, I'm good with 3,500. You said yourself the interment opening and closing is just taking the front off and putting it back in. I think 400 would be good for that, in my opinion. The inscription, what you said earlier would probably be the right way to do it because price fluctuation with the inscribers to do it. Disinterment, I would go probably with about 450 on it instead of the 600. I don't think you're going to have that many people wanting to take the urn out and take it to another state.
We don't get too many disinterments in the whole cemetery.
Right. And most disinterments, do they not require a court order to dig a body up?
Usually, I think that the funeral home director can come with that with the paperwork. They usually do that.
Okay. So that's my opinion on the pricing.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Kathy.
How much is the double in a pre-sale? So you said it was 37, so how much is it in a pre-sale?
In the double, we didn't look at a pre-sale just because they're already getting about $1,200 discount for getting them both in the same. So instead of $5,000, they're getting $3,700, so that's actually $1,300 they're saving by going in the same niche.
Okay. What about pets? A lot of people like to put their pets with them or things with them. As long as it fits in that 12 by 12 by 12, is that okay, or?
Currently, we do not allow in our cemetery animals. There are some rules with certain things through cemeteries, not just, I think, from the state level. So that is the thing I'll have to look into from animals.
But these are ashes, these aren't actual animals.
No, yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Yep.
If you could find that out, I'd be curious on that answer. Because I know for myself, I have my mother and 3 dogs, sad to say, and then it'd be me and Ron, and I don't think we'd all fit in a double, so, you know. Well, I'd be okay with that. I would.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Mr. Vaughn.
Do you have a estimate or guess on, in that first 60 days, how many you think we probably would pre-sell?
Well, currently, we have a little mini wait list of about 6. 5 almost for sure, but we have one other one we think might be the 6th one. But we have a list right now that the executive assistant has already been getting calls for.
That's also with like, outside of the discussions we've had in council, no advertising, nothing, but.
Well, I was just wondering if that makes more sense, or to put a quantity on it and just say, hey, the first 10 are at this price, and after that, they're this price, or whatever the quantity would be, and not put a day figure on it, if there was any merit to that. I don't know. Just an idea.
Bill?
Bill.
As soon as I remember what I was going to ask, I'll get back to you.
Well, add me to the list,
You're one.
for a double.
Oh, I know what the question is now.
Go ahead.
Are these people that lives in the city that's on the list, or are they outside of the city? Or do you know?
I know of one that's in the city.
Okay.
I haven't seen the names, I just been told that we've had a couple calls and they want to be on the list.
Okay. All right, I was just curious to know.
Anyone else?
One more question. Are we setting these prices tonight?
No, sir, there'll be an ordinance coming.
Okay.
And it's going to take what the consensus is of council, set that pricing into an ordinance, just like the regular cemetery rates.
Okay.
The rules will be in there. This will govern everything for the columbarium.
Okay.
I have,
Go ahead, Kathy.
well, go ahead, you were starting.
So I guess my question is to council, the rates that I gave, is council good with those rates, or do they have a different idea or something, or you want to go with what is on the document here?
Well, I'll jump in here because I was going to ask how much to actually get a burial plot. I know we approved that, but I don't remember how much that was. So when you compare a plot to the columbarium, I can't even say the words, yeah.
The columbarium is very close. One is, and a lot of this depends on the headstone that you pick for your site. Headstones range from anywhere from 2 to 10 grand and on up. So with your burial, your opening and close, your headstone, it is very close to this. And with the columbarium, there is a little bit of a fee built in here because it is above ground, more visible. We'll eventually have the concrete around it, the benches. So you're going to pay a little bit more to go in there cremated than maybe be buried.
Oh, well, then I don't agree with that at all. It just seems to be that should be a money saver. It's obviously not costing us that much more. You know, granted, I'm with Bill then, it should not be over 2. That's just the way I feel. It shouldn't cost that much to do as opposed to a grave site where you have this many feet of land and a big headstone and.
We gotta think about like the cost of the casket, the preparation of the body.
Oh, I know there's a lot
I'm sure
more
all of
than
you
that, yeah.
have somewhat gone through this, but a typical burial is around 10 grand.
Right.
So, you know, the cost of cremation and the urn and, you know, the niche is considerably less.
Yes, I'm
Than the
aware.
full burial cost, but I understand what you're saying.
Peg, you got something?
I'm good with the price on this that you came up with the 2,500 for resident and 3,000 for non-resident.
Go ahead, Mr. Vaughn.
What were your prices again, Mr. Lindsay?
For a resident, I was looking at 2,000. For a non-resident, the 3,000. Double, I was good with the 3,500, 37, the numbers that was there. For the open and interment, I'm looking at about 450 because it isn't that hard to take that, I don't think, I've never done it, but I don't think it's that hard to take that faceplate off, stick a urn in there, put it back on there and seal it, caulk it, whatever they have to do with it.
There's a lot of training.
It's a lot easier than digging a hole, is what I'm getting at. It doesn't take as much time as somebody on a backhoe actually digging the grave. The faceplate, and the inscription, what Mr. Kiko said about having it so it fluctuates with the market, I agree with that because you never know what prices will be next year from the headstone companies like Dodd, what they charge to do that. And then the disinterment, I was looking at about 450 for it, because I don't think we're gonna have that many, if we have any at all.
That's okay with the grades, 100% profit.
So then would you have a discounted amount like they were proposing for the
Plus labor.
first 60 days or whatever?
Well,
On those rates?
depending on what their discount, and maybe Mr. Kiko, what kind of discount are you thinking about giving off of, for the first 60 days? And do we really need to do it for 60 days, or would 30 be better versus the first 10 people that buys?
Whether you use a limit of how many you want to sell or the pre-sale, ours was initially, if you did 25, your pre-sale would be 2. Because if we went into the $1,500 range of a single, let's say for pre-sale, if we set it at 2,000, we won't get that perpetual care money. And that's the key, is to take care of this thing for its life.
So you want to do the discount at 2,000, and if we set it at 2,000, there's no discount.
Right, if I was to do it, I was looking at 2,500 with the pre-sale being 2.
Right.
If council's desire was to set it at 2, then we go, okay, now our pre-sale's down into the 1,500. And if we get a rush,
Well, if we set the single at 2250, and then you discount it to 2,000, that's still saving them $250.
Or 500 if they want to double.
Yeah, or 500 if they want to double, correct.
so if you, let's just say you sold, you take the price of the columbarium and the foundation at 75, and you take the $1,500, once you sold 50, then you would pay the columbarium off. Now you're, I wouldn't say upside down, but you're past the halfway point of a columbarium, and we haven't even earned any money on it.
But that's just off the singles. You may get doubles. You may get people from out of the city, which I said at 3,000 for non-residents. I think they're going to use the cemetery and stuff for people that don't live here. I think they should pay more. It's the same thing with the pricing on the shelters. If you're a non-resident, you pay more to rent our shelters versus a resident does here in the city. Is that still correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you wanted to sell them if we set it at $22.50, they'd still save $250 if you discount it to 2,000. I'm not sure about 60 days. I mean, I'll let somebody else speak on that. I'm just looking at the pricing of things.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry.
Chris had a question though.
Yeah.
So the first 5 to 6 people will get that discount right away if they're residents, correct? That are on the list?
Yeah, it'll be, I mean, there is a list, so that's where you're talking about the number of one we do?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they called and said we're ready to purchase as soon as you come out with your ordinance. So, yeah.
But I do like what Mr. Bond said, have a maximum. And I like what Mr. Lindsay was saying. We should take care of the residents who live here and give them the biggest discount we can. So,
In other words, you're saying it's the first 40 sold, we offer the discount rate. Anything over the first 40 then goes back to regular price?
I don't know about 40.
Well, I'm just throwing that
Right.
number out.
What do you think about 20?
Yeah.
15 to 20? So, because we already have residents that, or I assume, the 5 or 6, and then we go up to 15 or 20. Does everybody like that idea?
Go ahead.
What is our actual cost involved with the interment? What's the overhead or cost involved with that?
So the interment is basically, when they go up there, Greg takes the key, takes the,
I mean, is it an hour labor? Is it 2 hours labor?
let's probably call it an hour tops. It's not, it's the key, taking the granite piece off, opening the inside piece, putting the urn in, putting it in. So, is it less than 15 minutes worth of work?
Well, I'm just wondering if maybe we're not giving up as much by maybe including the interment with the first group. Instead of discounting the cost of it, we throw in the interment fee. They still get that money, but we're not giving up really as much on our side of it. Do you understand as far as cost involved to it?
Yes.
We have less in that piece of it. They're still going to see a value of $400 to $500 versus us discounting the.
Go ahead.
I love that idea. So I absolutely back that. And I also like the idea of, instead of doing it for 60 days, doing it to 20 people. Giving that offer to 20 people. I also had a question. For the disinterment, you have a fluctuation of $300 to $600 here. Is that for single versus double?
It's what we've seen from other municipalities, in various cemeteries. Some are 3, some are 6. There's not a ton of columbariums. There's enough to get some data, but it's just not a lot, so there was a range of what someone might charge.
Okay, so that's just a range of what they might charge, because, I mean, it would make sense if it was $300 for a single and then $600 for a double. Or maybe $300 for a single and $450 for a double. Say if somebody was moving and they wanted to take, like, their parents with them. Kind of thing.
If I could, Mr. Mayor, some of this information I feel is a little bit in a vacuum. I spent 6 hours today in budget meetings going through our entire budget. Understanding, there's always the cost to revenue measurement that we're looking at. And I think it's easy to get, kind of stuck in, one area, but we have to understand that we're maintaining a cemetery that's over 200 years old. And this was a creative idea that Mr. Kiko came up for us to help offset all of the expenses for the entire cemetery. So while there may be, it take 15 minutes to an hour of labor for this, we utilized this and then also went with a plethora of information of all different municipalities of what their charging rates were. And they're utilizing it for the same purposes. We have to find ways to fund these things. Otherwise, we have to pull out of the general fund to be able to help pay for things like a mower gets busted or something like that. In a way, we are running a business, multiple businesses within the one big business of the city of New Carlisle. So some of these prices and things is us studying, exactly what our wins and losses are year after year in the cemetery and trying to find ways where we can generate more revenue. And what these ranges are is the fair market value of what it is cost to be buried, across this area. So just something else, we have to do this so we can get the ordinance done. But here very soon, we're going to be in the deep areas of the budget. And I know many of you have been through numerous budget discussions and understand how we categorize all our different areas of responsibility. So just another thing to put in there, these weren't just arbitrary numbers that we came up with. It was also the holistic approach of taking care of, our cemetery. So just to help plug that in there.
Mr. Mayor. Okay.
I got one question. If we go through with a double niche, let's say, for example, my wife has passed away. We're going to do an interment on her. If I pass away, then you're going to get another interment fee. So at some point in time, it looks to me like it would be smarter just to hold on to my wife's ashes, mix them with mine, and do it all at once. Am I thinking correctly?
Yeah, I mean, there's always creative ways to do that, because you don't have to give up your ashes right away. And one of the people that they have gotten called on the list, which just triggered it, they're holding on to them right now. They've had them, and they're like, hey, that'd be a perfect place to put them, because I don't want them on my mantle anymore, that type of thing.
Go ahead, Bill.
These prices that you have here, the low and high end, are they comparable with other cemeteries around that has the columbariums?
They are. And
Memorial over in Butler Township?
let's see if we have.
Or Rose over here in Springfield?
I think they're very comparable to Rose.
Are they?
Cities in here?
So you've checked them,
Yeah, I've
checked-
already-
Where is it?
If you could just give us a minute, I know we have.
Troy's, Beaver Creeks, Willoughby's, Hudson's. I mean, yeah, there's 500 cemeteries probably in the area, and just some come up when you're searching columbariums and making these calls and stuff like that. So do we cover everybody specific like what you named? No, but we tip, because I don't even think down here on 40, it is Glen
They don't have one at Glen Haven.
They don't have one there. So there's a lot of people that really don't have them
They
close.
do have them there, but they're privately owned. Somebody bought their own and put it in.
Gotcha.
And they're in the back of the cemetery. And my parents are buried there, so I'm there regularly, so.
We looked at Miamisburg, was on there. It's not in this list. What was the one that you were talking about? Calvary?
Calvary.
Calvary.
Calvary is probably the most high-end cemetery that we
Yeah.
have in the Miami Family Valley.
Okay.
But it's
I
just,
think
it
it was
was,
fairly consistent with that.
So, you're, and maybe I'm going to use the wrong word here, you're advocating that we go with the high end on all these figures to accomplish what we need to accomplish for the citizens and perpetual care and paying for the columbarium and money in the future for a second one when this first one is filled up or close to being filled up.
correct. There's a lot of parts I want to take care of, and then the original price was even $500 more, which I even thought in this area was too much.
Okay? So if we go with the higher prices, could we include the internment with that price?
I would say yes, as long as there's some other state thing that says you can or cannot. I know we're home rule, but there may be some cemetery law that says otherwise, but I can check. But, I mean, off the surface, I don't see an issue with it. That is our least overhead time out there.
Right. Well, I guess my next question is, what does council think about just going with the higher prices, doing away with the internment fee?
Go ahead, Mr. Bond.
That would be my suggestion is go with higher prices, include the internment, so they still get basically a $500 value.
Right.
But my other question is there anything that says we get a couple years into this and we're not selling these that we can't adjust the pricing?
We were just talking about
Just
that.
discussed, it would require separate legislation, but, I mean, from a business perspective, like, you know, I understand taking care of the community and trying to keep things as affordable as possible, but the entire idea of the columbarium is to do that, because this is much cheaper as an option, you know, to bury your loved ones with dignity and respect than the alternative of buying a casket and, you know, taking care of the body and then putting it into the ground. So I think that was part of our philosophy was, let's test the market. I know it's a very morbid conversation to wrap your head around. It ensues a lot of emotions, I'm sure, from all of us. But that was kind of our logic was, let's test the market. We've never done this before. And, you know, see what happens. And if we need to run these discount sales and some other things to generate it, you know, we unfortunately have to kind of have a business mind, you know, with this approach to the cemetery.
Okay, let me ask a question. Bill has brought that up. Do you want to go back to the original prices and include the internment fees?
I agree.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion for that, for you guys?
For clarity of drafting the ordinance, right?
I'll make the motion that we go with the higher prices, and the interment is included in those prices.
Second.
I'll second it.
I got it.
Oh, did you? Sorry about
Oh,
that.
it's-
For all of
I
them,
got
or
my
just
hearing
for the
aids
start?
down.
Okay, hold on one second.
No,
So
I mean,
now that you have that, so I'll make sure that we are going to go with
Until, see if we
25, 3, and 37. Pre-sale of the 225. And then include in all of that the interment, regardless if it's pre-sale or not.
Right,
Okay.
and how much of a discount of the pre-sale, and for how long are you going to do it? Do you want to do it?
Do we need to do it? That'd be my
30
question.
days.
I don't know why we need
What
to
do you
do it.
think?
Are we gonna just do like the first 20 as a pre-sale? Or are we gonna do 30 days or the 60 that you have here?
I think 20.
The 20 probably makes it easier on us.
I think that's consensus of council, I think it would be 20.
I'm fine with that.
And that also gets us to the point where we've paid for our costs.
Right,
Because we gotta kick that money back into the cemetery fund so they can operate. Because right now, essentially, we've taken a lot of money out of savings in the cemetery, put it into the columbarium in hopes that this thing's gonna, you know, be utilized. We cover our cost, and then we can start talking about, you know, actually bringing in revenue for it next.
And it could be possible within 6 months, the whole thing sold out, we'll order a new one, another one.
There is the
within a year.
potential.
I mean, that would, I don't know if that'd be nice or not, because like you said, it's
Well,
kind
I
of a
mean,
morbid conversation.
again, I know this is a morbid conversation to have, but there's a study out, and I can provide you guys with a publication, that 25% of Ohio counties have a 2-to-1 death-to-birth ratio. So we are on kind of a precept here of, a lot of people passing away. So, and then with the cost of death, even, long-term care, a lot of people are draining their finances, just trying to stay alive as long as they can, and then that moment happens, that all of us will face, and then you're hit with this big bill of having to bury your loved one. So I think there will be more of a proactive approach of trying to get things set up, so your family's not scrambling to come up with money at the last minute.
Anything further before we vote?
So this will be one motion, and then I just have some other minors, or would you like to add it? They're just some other.
The key policy discussions, the only thing we addressed there is number 1, and it's for the first 20 niches. Now, you want to do the rest of these all in one motion, or you want separate motions? Because the motion was just for the first 20, and the pricing, the high-end pricing, to see if it don't sell, then we have to do something different,
So I got that all wrote down.
okay?
Let me see if anything else really is, let's do that in this one motion, and we'll do the motion on rules.
Okay?
Let me make sure there's no other fees that were really of any, I'm not too concerned about an admin fee, selling back. Our typical graves right now, if you do a weekend or a holiday, it's $100 more because we're paying overtime. So I don't know if as council's pleasure to add $100, because right now interment is included. So if you want to do a columbarium burial on a Saturday, are you still good with your price, or do we have to at least put $100 on for his labor? Because he'll get,
I would
least.
agree to add $100 if it's a weekend or a holiday. Probably a holiday would probably be $200 because that's triple time,
we do $100 on Saturday and $200 on Sunday.
okay? Then that should be sufficient for a holiday also if it would happen. So I don't have a problem with that. I think that's probably prudent to do that, because I'm sure every cemetery in the state does the same thing.
Make sure we can search it.
Would you add the wording Sunday and/or holiday at 200?
Right.
Okay, so we got that covered. Buyback. Buyback, our cemetery deeds right now, you can buy back at the price that you purchased it for. We can do that with the niche as well. You can buy back at the same. Some do charge a 15% admin fee.
I don't have a problem with that because there's paperwork involved, time involved. So I don't have a problem with the 15%. And is that comparable with the other cemeteries that you checked? Okay. And I mean, if council don't have a problem with that, then I think if you want to add that 15% in there, into that motion, and then we may have to make a new motion.
Mr. Bond?
The only other thing I would like to see, I guess, is where it's inter-family transfer or whatever.
Yeah, that was the,
And the admin fee right above there. Because I feel like if they're both citizens of New Carlisle, I wouldn't charge an admin fee to transfer it if they're, citizen to citizen or whatever.
okay, so we wouldn't put anything on there for that, for just inter-family.
And transfer and refund.
Additional weekends, got that covered.
Is that everything that you wanted in the motion?
So
I want them to read it back to us to make sure.
first 20 sold,
Okay?
the prices will be $2,500, $3,000, and $3,700
Okay?
with interment included.
Okay?
Pre-sale will be $2,000, $2,500 for just single niche resident and non-resident. And then the Interment and close. Disinterment, 450.
Yes. If council's okay with the 450. That's somewhere between the 3 and 6. I don't think we'll have that many, as I said. To my knowledge, it takes a court order, which the funeral directors would have to get, or the family would have to get for that to happen.
And then I think the $100 Saturday fee and the $200 Sunday and holiday fee.
Right. And the 15% admin on a buyback.
And the 15% admin on the buyback.
Right.
I'll have to watch this video again.
And no admin fees on family transfers.
I got that scratched out.
Okay, all right. Does everybody understand the motion now?
Yes.
And we still have a second?
Still got a second.
You're saying all good? Councilwoman Wright,
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston,
Yes.
Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grow,
Yes.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
Councilman Shammy.
Can we go through this again? I'm just kidding, yes.
Accepted 7-0.
And the very last thing is, there's simple rules, but it's the engraving, decor.
The only thing I have to say on the engraving is, you had mentioned earlier the year that was born, the year that died. Some people prefers to have the month, day, and year.
I'm sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. I just didn't say the whole thing.
Okay, so, and some people just prefers the birth year and the deceased year. So I think that should be either or, depending on what the family wants on those. And then I assume it'd have the name on there. And I don't know what else you'd want to put on there myself.
So we were looking at, once we pick it out, a single font. I'm good with, we can do month, day, year, name. The last piece of the puzzle is any special emblems. Some do, and some keep it very, very uniform with none.
Question. All right, now if you've got a double, when you start talking about a double, let's say, for example, my wife died, I die. So now we've got 2 dates on there.
And 2 names. It just have to be a little smaller font.
Yeah.
To
Yep.
get it on the 12 by 12 area.
Yeah,
Are we gonna be able to get it all on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do
Okay.
doubles.
All right. Would it be better at that point to add a percentage onto the amount of the inscription cost?
well, it's going to be market. So whatever it costs, when you come to me and say, hey, I need this, 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 and this, and this, they're going to give us an engraving price.
Well, I guess what I'm looking at, are we gonna have any personnel involved when they're down there doing that inscription?
Probably not.
So how the inscriptions work, I think right now is through Dodds. They send out a form and you have to sign off on that it is correct before they do it.
And then they come out and cut it. You don't have to, nobody has to do it. But another thing that people will do on these, they do it on headstones. When one spouse dies, I did it on my wife's headstone. I have her information over here and I have my information over here. All they gotta do is put a dead date. And I told them I could give that to them. They said, no, don't bother. So all they have to do is put the date that I die on the headstone, that's it.
Kathy?
Yeah, I guess my question is, on a more personal note, there's no room for any personality in these things? I mean, not like wife, mother, whatever, loving husband, none of that. There's no room for any personality in this?
They're 12,
You get a
yeah,
picture.
12 by 12. It's usually what they try to fit in there. I've
Right.
heard some do veterans.
It's like this, right? So you would
like
have
this.
that much,
It's like this.
Yeah, we were looking on the VA website before the meeting.
Yeah.
And, most, veterans are honorably discharged qualify for, like the headstone that most of us have seen, the name, but then, unique to them is the branch of service, and then if they served in a combat zone, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, that type of stuff. So the only thing that goes with this that I would advise you all is just the precedent when you open up the door, then you kind of have to open up the door to anything and everything. And that gets back to, I don't know if you've seen like the emblems that have been affixed to gravestones and stuff, like Shriners, Masons, those types of organizations and things, but there's a lot of organizations that, represent a lot of different things. So, our position, I think, is, just trying to keep things as neat and dignified to everyone who's buried within the columbarium as possible. But understanding also if there's room on the etch plate to say beloved mother or something along those lines. I'd imagine if you're in a single niche, obviously we can constrain the font for a double niche. We could probably pack in some more characters for a single niche.
Now, I would like to see the font be uniform throughout all the things, and that's why I was going to suggest like 3 lines. If you give everybody 3 lines, date of birth, date of death, and then like whatever you want to say, of course, their name needs to be one of those lines. It would leave them that space in that last line. And then if everything's the same font, it would be up to the person to figure out if loving wife and mother doesn't fit, you'll just have to put loving wife or just wife and mother. I just think that little few words might be helpful to some.
Would it, on this page right here that says the Rock of Ages Columbaria,
Okay.
you'll get to see right there on the left, that is Miamisburg's, I believe, and you'll get to kind of see what the font looks like on the niche
Right.
doors. Is that something you were thinking, there's 4 lines on one of them, 3 lines on another? I'm trying to see if there's
See,
a,
that would be fine. It looks like 4 lines fits nicely, but it has the date in 2 separate lines, so that would only leave you, yeah. Some people's names probably wouldn't fit in that big a font, so.
dang, half my name's on one of them. That's not good. Howard
So
Lee.
Howard in there.
That's not good.
You already got yours bought, huh?
Kathy, you done?
Yeah, sure.
So from my understanding, you would allow like a little emblem if it was a veteran?
That's what we're trying to figure out is we can limit, council can say, I only want, I believe, veteran and something, but then you may open yourself up.
So, because I really want to bring something to the forefront that many people are probably not going to think about. So like, I had a little girl that I was nannying for who passed away. And if this is a child, I know it would be meaningful to the parents to have just like a little butterfly or something like that, if they can't afford like a full burial with a casket. And I feel like that should be something to take into consideration.
Yes, and this is, I would say, where I would probably lean on our law director a little bit about the minutia of the legislation, of how we can par it down. And because the thing is there's other symbols that are not probably as tasteful as a butterfly, that if you open it up for one, you open it up for all. So those
they
are
would, like you could say, like, these are your only options.
approved symbols, like could
Approved.
come up with a list, but,
Correct.
I'm not sure if there was like a hate group or something that you want grandma right next to, the guy or gal who has the hate group symbol right next to.
Right.
Their
I'm just
niche.
thinking like very generic,
Yes, symbolic
like just
characters and.
just a little something. I just would really like it if everybody could take that into consideration. And I know we had talked previously about there being a little spot for bud vases, and I really, really, really liked that idea. Is that still something that's available with this, or? is that
I've heard
not design?
I've heard the vases can look nice, but they do stick up above the niche plate. So sometimes they stick out, they break off. And then it just comes back to uniformity. So, I mean,
And there may be some things that we can do landscaping wise and other things where it's in and around. We're gonna have the
Be creative.
benches and stuff where folks, can kind of put that, it's just, it's part of the columbariums that saves a lot of
Yeah.
space. So we're working,
Maybe
you
on
think
the-
about how much, like me and Howie were out there last week, looking at the cemetery of like, how how much just land we would need to bury these, because our
Right.
cemetery is getting smaller at this point. And that was part of the reason for the columbarium.
Well, maybe they're like in front of it, like on the ground, like not on the ground, but outside of like the cement area, there could be like a little area or something for something like. We
Like a
can probably
dedication
come up with
garden
something.
or.
Yeah, something creative. I think we could also put like wreath hooks on the back of the benches, if people wanted.
And yeah, I was thinking veteran flags for Memorial Day and Veterans Day, different things that we can do.
Yeah, so I just think that it's nice when people can bring something to their loved ones and to offer that space, even if it's in a creative way. Like, I understand, we don't want to cover up anybody's nameplate with a bunch of flowers that we put in the vase because they got like a giant bouquet that doesn't actually fit. But, yeah, so if you guys could just think of outside the box and creative ideas, I think that'd be meaningful to people.
Anyone else before we vote?
Prices.
We already voted on the one. Yeah, the prices are all good.
First one,
We'll-
so
we'll
we
be
need
voting
to-
on this
Yeah, really, what do we
The
vote
policy
on?
decisions on it.
Call the roll.
I don't have anything for you to vote on yet. So we
We
voted
don't-
on the
We
pricing.
don't have a motion on anything yet,
So I
sir.
would.
We don't
I
have a
would need
motion yet.
Okay.
We've already voted on the pricing.
All right.
Yeah, that's the key for it. So maybe what I do is we get with Jake when we were drafting this
All right.
legislation. And if something just sticks out weird, we can let you know.
All right, then we're gonna move on to the nature forest and the dog park.
Mr. Mayor, we anticipated the columbarium conversation to be a little bit less than this. I know we have a couple people waiting to be interviewed. So I leave it up to you and your discretion as what's most prudent. We can go ahead and knock out the interviews now, and then, because I have a feeling the parks conversation could probably maybe take some time too. That was the whole point of the parks, was it was brought up in a council meeting, and we thought maybe we needed a separate meeting for it, so.
Can we do
What's
that?
your pleasure, council?
I'd say,
Because of time constraints, and I know the city manager has another engagement he has to get to, I think we should go into the interviews and then pick up what we did not cover tonight on our next meeting agenda.
Well, you've got
There's
some ladies here that want to
Well,
address.
we need to hear from them, from the public's viewpoint. Yes, sir.
Apologies. I can get coverage for my next meeting if you guys would like to press, but if you'd like to conduct the interviews, then we can just take as much time as we need, since Ms. Vernon came here to discuss the parks and things.
Okay.
Just want to be appreciative of their time.
I don't really think the interviews are gonna take that long, are they?
I
don't either.
I wouldn't think, but they was,
Less than 10 minutes, Bob.
we're already behind on the interviews.
Yeah.
I would suggest we hear from the ladies, and it's going to kind of throw us out of order, but that way they can tell us what they're here to talk to us about, and then go if they like. And then proceed from there.
Is that agreeable?
yep.
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
It doesn't. We got 3 people for sitting
I'll do
down.
it quickly.
Do you need a drum
This
roll?
is quite the segue, so buckle up. We're going from death to
Light,
gardens.
yeah.
Okay, so my name's Maria Norman. I have lived in Carlisle for 39 years. My mom, Kathy Spencer, and Karen Strain is a fellow ecology program classmate that is also interested in including youths in our parks.
Thank you.
So this sheet will give you some information on why natives are helpful and why they would be beneficial to include in our parks. So we've already started the, I'll go back to, I already have one.
Excuse me, ma'am. When you get done, will you stand up here and give us your name and
Yeah,
address
of
and
course.
information, please?
Okay. Maria Norman. So I work for Siebenthalers. I've been gardening for 20 years. We have gotten our own yard National Wildlife certified. It took us about 5 years. You know, you provide the water source. You don't use pesticides, you know. I did an ecology program through Ohio State, and I had a capstone. So I came to the city and I said, hey, can I plant a native garden in front of Smith Park for some visibility, to get some, you know, awareness around the issue. And so in front of the log cabin over there, we have this first picture. So that's the sign that will eventually get made and put out front. So the whole idea for all of this is, part of the enjoyment of parks is that you see wildlife, right? Children love to see the butterflies, the chipmunks, and adults do too. So a way to draw these creatures is by planting native. So native plants naturally occur here. They need less water, maintenance, pesticides, fertilizer, because they're meant to grow here. And because they're meant to grow here, they feed into the ecosystem. So it provides, you know, lots of advantages. So we also discussed, we have a lot of developments getting built right now, and we want to increase, you know, community pride. People want to be proud that they live here. And a strong park system is a really good way to make that happen. So we've got the phases of the plan. So the garden over there, those are considered keystone species. They support a greater number of wildlife than other species. Another phase of the plan could be to get certified. You can get the whole city certified, and it gets you on a list. It's very good press. Sometimes people look for those lists to decide where to move, because they know there's going to be a lot of green space and natural resources. So our third phase could possibly be the Heritage Park, which is the land on Madison Street. And the idea there is that we would plant a native tree forest, because we don't really have any forests in any of our parks yet. So, yeah, that was fast. Are there any questions? Trying to save all your time. Yeah.
Would you be planting native flowers as well in the forest?
Yeah, that could be part of the plan. Yeah, you'd have your I believe they call them climax trees to start, then your understory, your perennials, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
You got a list of the trees, and are you doing bushes too?
Yeah, we could. So over here, we have those listed, you know, the red oak. Oaks are fantastic. We already have several beautiful giant oak trees, which is great. We can keep building on that. The black haw viburnum, that's a shrub. The fall sunflower is a perennial. So the idea now with the limited budget is that we would work with volunteer trees. So if you know somebody that has a tree growing in their yard and it's not in a great place and it's a native tree, we could transplant it. And that is free. So, and I'm going to ask Siebenthalers for some more donations, but you know, they've got it. Yeah. Trying to think what else.
Go ahead, Chris.
And so part of the idea too with this Heritage Park is that these trees can memorialize important members of New Carlisle historically.
Go ahead.
I do love this idea. We were discussing this before, and I think that's what the city needs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's I think it's something that many people value, but it can sometimes get pushed to the bottom of the list.
What, you don't like skyscrapers and all that other good stuff? I'll Yeah, great elevator, yeah.
Since it would be native forest, I would assume that it wouldn't be only native trees, but it would be in a pattern that's not just straight lines and a grid.
Yeah, I'm picturing more naturally occurring as they do in
Okay.
forests, kind
Yeah.
of, yeah.
I really do love this idea. I'm very much all about all of this.
Yay, good.
Like,
All right,
Super
excellent.
into this. I love it.
And something I didn't even include on the sheet is we are a very agricultural community, and if you support your pollinators are going to work on your crops. So everybody wins.
Oh, yeah.
It supports everything. And then also your mosquito control will get better too, because your ecosystem will be strengthened.
Yep.
So I was just wondering, is there a long-term plan, like with park benches and paths and handicap accessibility and fountains
That's
and
you.
statues? Because without those things, it's a dead end. And I mean, I've got the woods back there, and they're as natural as they could be. Too much honeysuckle, but that's beside the point.
That's always the struggle.
Yeah, that's always the struggle. But without, that's the only thing that bothers me, because we have parks already that we're really just mowing, and there's
Yeah.
not much going on in those. To me, it just seems more logical to put that stuff in a place where it's already human. I don't know. I'm okay with putting a
Yeah.
park there. I am fine with that. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, you're going to need parking, you're going to need the rest of the stuff, unless this is some long-term plan, the first 10 years we'll plant trees and bushes, the
Right.
next 10 years we'll do, I mean, I
It's
was
going to
what's
be
your
in
plan?
phases. Yeah, of course. And, this is where we can find some grants. We could find some state grants, some local grants to pay for park benches, To start off, people could park on the street. It's not that far, to walk to that land, so I think that should be okay. To start, people could bring blankets for a picnic, So the first phase would just be getting things established, and then we'd work from there. But yeah, something we could definitely use help with is finding any grants that could help support these efforts.
Anybody else?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
So I don't know if anybody's been there before, but the grotto at the Veterans, the VA, I was just there yesterday. And this place is absolutely beautiful. All natural stuff. There's little cards on each plant or tree for memorialization. And it was just absolutely amazing place. They had the waterfalls. That was really cool. So if you've not ever seen anything like what she's talking about, go out to the VA, to the grotto. That is a really cool place to go.
Yeah, that would be a really neat, inspiration for everyone.
And I don't know if this is really connected or not, maybe I'm missing something here, but we are looking for Parks and Rec board members, committee members. Is this something that you would be interested in being a part of, so we can help grow the rest of our parks in addition to Madison Avenue?
I'm already on a board for the Dayton Art Institute, and
Okay.
it's my junior year, so I'm kind of trying to, wouldn't mind being like maybe a consultant type role, but yeah, eventually a board, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had to ask.
Of course, yes.
Almost.
Just real quick, Mr.
I
Mayor.
have a contract right here. Oh,
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Ms. Norman, I could have done a better job somewhat narrating her piece to this big puzzle. It's been somewhat unveiled through just kind of the dialogue and the discussion, but Ms. Norman came to us with her capstone project and had high energy and a strong passion and love for New Carlisle and was looking for space. And as we've had numerous discussions about multiple different things of, recognizing key notable figures in our town, what are we going to do at the space behind Madison Park? Dogs, all these different things. So Maria and her natural habitat, idea, it came up because we did start talking about trees and where could we plant these trees at. And one of the things that was mentioned just in our crosstalk was thinking about the property behind the old Madison School, which we'll call now the land behind the Habitat homes. So piecing it together, Maria just had this very strong, pulse on this, which I think many of us share. It's one of the reasons we live in a rural community is we love our green space. So I just want to applaud Ms. Norman for taking the time not only to talk with me a few months ago, but coming in here and having the courage to enter the arena.
The octagon.
Even if she was just a tad nervous.
Yeah, it's all right. I
We're
mean,
all-
all this talk about death, come on.
Thank you very much,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thanks.
I think we all appreciate the fact that you came up, young lady, and applaud you for your efforts.
Well, and the tie to the community, we are both related to Bob and Ruth Spencer, who actually lived right there on Madison Street. And I even gardened in her garden that she used for decades and looked back at that Madison Street land. And so it's land that's really dear to our hearts and very, we'd like to see it,
They would be smiling.
Again, thank you very much. You want to go to the interviews now?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Are we going to do these in
Executive session.
executive session?
Yeah, that's usually what we do. So with that, Mr. Mayor,
All right, I will ask for a motion to go into executive session for these interview process.
Mr. Mayor, I move we go into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Second.
Councilwoman Wright.
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Yes.
Mayor Cook.
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove.
Yes.
Councilman Bond.
Yes.
Councilman Shammy.
Yes.
All right.
Here in a minute. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to go back into regular session.
Second.
Councilwoman Wright.
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Yes.
Mayor Cook.
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove.
Yes.
Councilman Bond.
Yes.
And Councilman Shammy.
Yes.
Mr.
All
Mayor,
right. We're back into regular session.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Bill.
I move to accept Michael Barclay, Barclay, yeah. Barclay, okay, and, let me find the name here, Raymond Elam Jr. to the Social Service Commission.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any comment?
As I said in our executive session, just before we come back into regular session, I think both of you gentlemen will bring a different perspective to the board in your own unique way. There will be 7 of you, so hopefully y'all can work together.
Let us know if you can't.
And if you can't, let us know. And that's pretty much all I have to say. If anybody else has anything to say? If not,
All right, Councilwoman Wright.
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay.
yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Yes.
Mayor Cook.
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove.
Yes.
Councilman Bond.
Yes.
And Councilman Shammy.
Yes.
With that, you're both,
Congratulations.
Congrats.
when, we've got, when do we
Thanks,
plan
guys.
on swearing them in?
Monday, this coming
Monday?
Monday.
Okay. All right, so we will
Where's
see
that, the
you gentlemen
27th?
next Monday.
Hold on one.
Monday, you have to
Or
pass the
regular
ordinance to the planning commission. The following Monday, the 22nd, is when we swear everybody in.
Okay.
The whole game.
All right, thank you to both gentlemen.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, is that?
So don't forget to come back next Monday.
Well, there's
You come back to
5.
the
Mondays, so-
They don't have
22nd.
next Monday.
22nd.
The 27th, yes.
27th or 22nd?
I thought it was
22nd,
2nd.
22nd.
Sorry, my English is bad.
we know.
All right,
Another council meeting.
Every Monday this month.
Mr. Hall, do you wish to go into the dog park situation, or?
I mean, we have, as long as you guys don't need a comfort break or anything
No.
like that. I know the parks have come up a couple times while we're in a regular council session, and it was my recommendation to do a working session. I think, we've packed a lot into this working session, so if you guys would like to take a break, we can come back, or we can just schedule another working session to just talk.
I would suggest we just continue and get through this agenda, and it's only 7:25, maybe we can be done in 35 minutes, who knows?
I think we should. Anybody else?
Rock on.
Go.
Copy that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. So, as I was kind of describing when Ms. Norman was here, there's a lot of ideas that get thrown at me every single day. And I try to find trends, and, it's like a big puzzle, and just everybody throws all the puzzle pieces at me, and I got to try to build a picture out of it. So, Maria had a strong yearn to want to do these natural habitats, and then the conversation morphed into doing this natural forest. And I was like, interesting. We've been thinking about what would be best for this, open space that we have, at the behind the Habitat homes where the Madison School used to be. And I was like, well, maybe that's something I can run by council and see. And, obviously talked with Mr. Kitko. We're cutting a lot of grass back there. It doesn't really get utilized. I have no ambition of wanting to build more houses on it. And we're somewhat limited because I believe the old Madison School is buried underneath it, or pieces of it, debris of it. And then we have, what I believe was a recess field or a soccer field. So all of that area is the part of city of New Carlisle. So there have been some ideas of possibly a dog park there and some other things. And then I was thinking to myself, well, we're investing a lot in Carlisle Park right now. We have had some issues with vandalism and just some mischief, some things that you don't want happening at a public park. So we're putting this work in, or, spending money into this park. How can we get some more foot traffic? And I believe it was Mr. Kitko that brought it to me, like, what do you think about maybe we put the dog park there, and then we could do the natural forest behind the old Madison School? And then we also had some notable members of our community who have recently passed. And we were thinking of ways that we could do a better job, remembering them, especially as we're going through this major population boom right now, of really trying to preserve our history and our culture, and folks that helped get us to this point. So the idea that I was going to propose to you all is that we would allow Ms. Norman to somewhat take the lead on, planting these native trees, and then we could work together as you as council and me as administration on how we could partner with her. She's willing to be the labor. I believe she lives outside of the city limits. She can't even serve on the Parks and Rec Board anyways, which is also another limitation that we have. But now that we have almost stood up our Social Services Commission, as I've discussed with many of you, the next board that I'm ready to focus on is Parks and Rec, and I'd really like to get that finished before the end of the calendar year. So that's why I just wanted to throw that all out there. I know it's a lot of darts I threw at the wall. Maybe we can get some, maybe all, or maybe none, but these are just some ideas that we have discussed as a staff, and then also with just members of our public wanting to get involved in the city.
Go ahead.
On the tree forest, or, nature forest you're calling it, I would like to see some type of a diagram of the layout, because she was talking about trails and stuff, on what her idea is and how things will be planted instead of just thrown out there, so to speak. I'd like to have some type of a blueprint to kind of go by to see what she's doing.
Okay.
I agree with Councilman Grow about the other flowers and stuff. There's a lot of wildflowers and stuff that could be planted, I think. It would also help the ecosystem there. She had mentioned bees and stuff. Are they gonna put beehives over there?
No.
Because I was gonna ask her the question and then I didn't.
Native plants attract native pollinators.
Okay,
Not honeybees, really.
okay.
I mean, they might come.
So I'd like to see some type of a blueprint on how she's gonna plan on laying things out instead of just haphazardly planting stuff. If that makes sense to anybody.
Sure.
Yes, and if I could respond, this would be a methodical process, working with Mr. Kiko and his, street department. They also, are the ones who are maintaining our parks, along with you all, because at least my theory on doing this is, as she's planting trees, we're doing dedications at the same time. So I passed out before the meeting, just a GIS map of kind of the area. You'll see the 4 or 5 parcels where the Habitat homes are. And then back behind that is where that big hill, the knoll is, along with a couple soccer goals. That is also a part of the old Madison property. So we would like to work in tandem together, as we slowly, have this space. We could start planting some trees, start talking about who we want to dedicate them to. And then also looking at the cost. I think Mr. Moore brought up the grotto at the VA, which is absolutely beautiful. How we can, put a little placard. I know we have a couple out here with some previous employees, longtime servants of our community. But I guess that I would like it, no pun intended, but to be somewhat organic in the development of this, because at any point, we could always pull the plug if there's another need within our community to use this space, without overextending ourselves too much. The other thing is I'm not sure who Miss Norman has as part of, I don't know, family members or friends maybe helping her. But, from the discussions that me and Mr. Kiko have had with her, there'd be minimal cost, to the city. So if we have, someone within the community that's willing to help, get the trees donated, even working through grants and different things like that. Otherwise, we're spending a good amount of labor and man hours, which I guess is one and the same, just cutting the grass back there right now. So the more trees you plant, the less grass you got to cut. It also checks the box of, having, folks within our community that's done a lot for us to be able to, without breaking the bank, be able to do something to distinguish them, within our community for, hopefully a really long time.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Are you planning on including that soccer area too? Because if so, we need a soccer area somewhere. And that'd be fine. It's not a great place to play. There's holes in the ground and stuff. But maybe a soccer field would be a good thing to put at Little Park. I don't know. That's one of the other things I wanted to do with the parks when it comes on. And we need a place for our kids to play.
Well, I think number one, we need to keep that soccer field because the kids are down there quite a bit.
Yeah.
We are looking at a soccer field. We're doing preliminary review of where D.R. Horton is dedicating that land next to Haddock's Field in between the houses. They are going to build a 50-space parking lot right there next to Mill Road. Mill Road will get shut down, and then we're going to have some green space. Right now, we're trying to figure out, obviously, we can't put a 55 by 110 soccer field in because that's not even big enough for that. But we're looking to see what does Rayner Park or anybody, if they wanted to do a tournament game, what's the minimum size? And we think we're going to be able to fit one in next to Haddock's Field where a lot of kids play baseball, the IGA, the stuff, everything's within reach there.
That makes great sense. That's the first I've heard of it, but
It's just not yet because we're still in preliminary right now, but that's the goal, is to put a field there. And just to maybe spill the beans a little bit more, we're trying to add another pickleball court down in that area too. And this is all from the developer. They're all doing this.
We have the playground equipment that's already there. Now, maybe you all, and, Ms. Wright, Ms. Grow, I know you live in the proximity. I have not, unfortunately, seen very many people utilize that property.
Oh, for soccer? Yeah.
For anything. Like, I just don't see anybody using, I know
Just
we had the
soccer.
garden there for a while, and different things. I have seen people riding their ATVs back in there, and other things like that. But, you know, it's an open field, so we kind of have a clean canvas to figure out, but we also have the constraints, you know, of being prudent with our budget and not overextending, you know, ourselves too much financially. So it was just an opportunity that was presented to me, trying to fill a void, and putting something back. I know, you know, we're progressing with the disc golf course. The pickleball courts seem to be extremely popular. Whoever's idea that was, kudos to them. I mean, there's literally like a line waiting to use the courts. It is one of the most active things that we have in the community. I've seen it anywhere of 40 people out there hovering around the 2 pickleball courts that we have. So it is one of these, if you build it, they will come, you know, types of things. And pickleball seems to be red hot. So I do think that there's something unique, and I know we'll utilize the disc golf course for this a little bit as well. Me and Mr. Kiko, when they're clearing the brush down the bike trail, you know, part of that was testing, you know, our capabilities of, you know, utilizing our own resources to help instead of subcontracting out to clear the disc golf course. But it's also going to be an incredible nature trail. I mean, a really cool trail that we have, an underutilized, you know, thicket and brush that we have right now that is just dense space that nobody can really, other than folks that you don't want to be back in there.
Okay.
So we can throw around the forest. We can come up with other places, other ideas. It was just not something that I was trying to steer you guys into a corner on. It's just, what are we going to do with this property? And here we have somebody from the community that's wanting to invest. I think it aligns with our values and what we're, you know, what we want our identity to be as, you know, a rural, environmentally friendly community that cares about nature. And that's why I was like, well, let's just give it a wag and see if, you know, council, you know, wants to buy in on it.
I really, really, really like this idea. I'm all for it. I have just one point to make. It's not like a but or anything like that. But there's a house back there, and I feel like if it were to turn into, like, I know this wouldn't happen, but if the new pool went there, or even if like a dog park went there, or if it did turn into a soccer field, I feel like those people that live back there also would kind of lose their privacy. And I feel like the natural forest will still give them that and a little bit of something beautiful to walk out towards. And my other suggestion, that was just a point, is that I'd love to see people in this town being dedicated before they die. So maybe that's something that council could come together and agree on for like one dedication a year to somebody who's been here a really, really long time and has been doing a ton for the community and things like that and really served. I think it's important to honor people before they die, not just after, you know, because while that's really great for the family and everything, I would love the people who we are dedicating these things to know that they are appreciated, you know, so that's just a suggestion I wanted to make.
Is that kind of like Citizen of the Year?
Yeah. Tree of the year.
Wow, Ben.
I don't, if I can have permission to speak now.
Nope, I'm not done. I'm going to continue talking.
Filibuster.
Let's talk about these flowers.
Yeah.
Just kidding, go on.
I mean, the natural forest, I'm fine. I mean, I sell chainsaws, so forest and chainsaws don't really. So I'm fine with it, but I don't have any.
They aren't that tall yet, we need
Right.
chainsaws.
I
Yeah,
have a hatchet, I'll take care of them.
but the dog park, the only thing about that, and I don't know if you guys have had any conversations or if you could have some conversations with other municipalities to know what are the pluses and minuses of putting in a dog park? What are the things that are pain to deal with? What are the things that are a plus? You know, just get some from people that have kind of walked through that already would be helpful.
Gotcha.
Good idea.
Can't we utilize maybe Smith Park to put a dog park in for right now?
I mean, I think people do take their dogs here already.
Yeah, they,
So, and this kind of, I'm sorry, I should ask for permission to respond. And this kind of goes with Councilman Baum, something me and Mr. Kiko was talking about. I mean, we could put out 1 million trash cans and trash bags for, you know, the undesirable stuff that comes out of animals. But people aren't gonna clean up the stuff. So who's that leave? Us. So there is some labor that's, you know, potentially going to be involved. But I guess, I would be interested to hear Mr. Kiko's position on, you know, declaring an area of Smith Park. We kind of want, Carlisle Park is just really underutilized. And there's graffiti on the side of the Dollar General building. We're about to pour this parking pad in there. You know, it's kind of like tucked back behind houses where the space opens up. So it would be nice from a security standpoint to get more foot traffic in Carlisle Park. And we have a lot of dog lovers in this town. I see people walking their dogs everywhere. And I notice some of them picking up the things that happen when you walk a dog. But it would be nice to at least have an area for, you know, folks who want to get out of the house and want to take the dog on the walk to be able, you know, to go. You got a lot of kids out here running and playing at Smith Park. You know, you have those fears of, you know, animals and humans don't always get along. But I'm open to anybody else who has positions on.
I like that idea.
but also maybe centrally located, not necessarily here, but what you were saying in the other park, probably. Carlisle Park.
Yeah.
But then they're gonna need one way over there for the new developments too, at some point down the road.
I know some people have put a couple in, and with the dog park, Smith to me, doesn't have a place where I don't want to look at the dog park as my main attraction to this park. I got 2 nice looking shelters, I have trees, I have a playground equipment. Carlisle Park for us, it just initially was, you have the new basketball court, and you got a playground set, and then you put that dog park right back in here. We'll have a camera, and utilize that because it'll be kind of, I wouldn't say it's hidden, but you'll be able to use that parking lot. And if we get to a point like you had just mentioned, we need a second one. You know, I don't think it's gonna be super big. I mean, I don't know. I've been to the one in Snyder, not with a dog, but up to it to see, you know, they use turnstiles. So you go in one, then you gotta open another door to get in so that animals don't get in and out freely. Been to one in St. Mary's, just happened to have one next to where we were hiking, but they're not like in the middle, like where a fountain would be. They're tucked to a side, off to a corner.
Yeah, with the smell.
And that's the thing, is we will probably be, we would have the bag station, we'd have the cans, but as you know, those cans, if you had, like me, big boxers at home and you forget for a day or two to go out and do it before you mow, then you gotta pick it all up and then it's all in the can. We almost have to dispose of it on a daily basis. Because once it starts getting this much in there, even dry, it'll start smelling. So that's one of our things that we're trying to figure out. Will we bug anybody? If there is, I don't think the smell will be an issue. It will just be on us to, it'll be a possibly daily, if not an every other day, trash check for them. And we don't do, you know, we do Main Street twice a week. We do, about everything is twice a week. I think a dog park might be just a little more often just because of the feces.
Another thing to think about, Councilman Shammy, is you know, Carlisle Park is not a far walk from the Arbor Homes development. With the DR side, what's unique with that development is they have, you know, what is proposed, this entire walkway bike path that's gonna go through the entire development. And then what they have kind of saddled beside them is the ball fields, which we're gonna have some extra green space that we need to do. We have the playground equipment, we thought about soccer, pickleball courts, and things like that, where, you know, our parks are somewhat, you know, spread out and nice, where folks in that general area have a green space. You know, same thing with Willowwick Park. You know, Smith Park is kind of the honeypot. This is our big park that, you know, we have the shelter houses at, we have the pavilion down there, and things of that nature. So I would like for all of our parks to be as utilized as possible. So trying to have some incentives or maybe even themes of, you know, if you want to go on a little forest walk, you know, we got this, you know, Heritage Memorial Park. If you want to, you know, ride the bike or play disc golf or something, you know, basketball, you got that at Carlisle Park, you got that here at Smith Park. Just trying to think of some different things where folks don't have to see the same green space every time they come out of their house. Because as you know, we have some, you know, condensed, you know, housing and things where you're really just looking at people's vehicles and other people's houses. But, you know, to try to open up spaces, you know, as much as we can. And if one park is kind of crowded, you can go to a different park if you're just looking for some solitude.
Mr. Bond?
I don't think this comes into play, but it might be worth checking. Does dog park, insurance-wise, does that raise any flags for our insurance as far as liability?
We had spoke about, we just want to double check our liability, make sure that if there's a waiver sign up there, that clears us of everything.
Yeah.
It may actually have a reversed effect, because now we don't really have like any sanctioned area for, you know, dogs and things like that, where they can be fenced in and just kind of run. But, you know, I've taken our golden retriever, you know, out here and thrown the stick with it and stuff like that. But, you know, like most animals, if they see something they're curious about, they're going to go run after it, whereas the dog park would kind of contain. But if the animals fight inside of it,
Right,
and
that's what I'm
things,
wondering.
it's a very good question that we need to look into.
Anything else?
I guess if we're going to talk about the dog park there, I would be okay with it there. That would be fine. I would hope it's not just a little square area though, because we're fenced on halfway around there, aren't we? It wouldn't take too much to fence it in the rest of the way. To do it straight across.
It would be, it would be its own fence area.
Right, but by itself or you?
Yeah, no, it'd be away from our property line to where we can mow around it and have its own fence, turnstile, signage, dedicated spot.
And trees, I would hope, and benches. Because without the benches and the trees, it's not a useful, again, there has to be a thing. I mean, it's great to throw your stick, you know, but it's a place for people to meet up and talk. It's for people more so than dogs.
There's
So-
a shelter there also.
Yeah, but it's not near where the dog park's gonna be.
It's not too far. Carlisle.
Yeah, you shouldn't put your dog in there and walk to the shelter.
no.
That wouldn't be smart. There
There
has
would,
to be.
I've been to, they've had benches, and right now we have a closed tree. I think it's got a decent canopy, but we would probably put a couple
We
around
would
there.
need probably more trees, yeah, because trees are so important for, like she's saying, it's true, we need trees. Shade's important, very important. But, you know, other things could go there too. That might be a great place for our splash zone. That might be a great place for the kids to jump lakes, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just know that we need more for various ages is what we really need. I mean, I would like some adult swings around here. That would be kind of nice. There's nothing but little kid swings around here. I like swinging, I'm sorry, but I do. Yeah, adults swing too. Okay, I'm done.
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
hearing nothing from council, I move to adjourn.
Councilwoman Wright,
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston,
Yes.
Mayor Cook,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Grove,
Yes.
Councilman Bond, Councilman Sheehan.
And